Great. So I'm going to call the City Council Committee in a whole for April 27th, 2020 to order, and I will call the roll since you need to hear me from here. Alderman Stevens.
Present.
Tom Porter.
Here.
Daniel Snow.
Here.
Daniel Arevalo.
Here.
Wendy Frank.
Here.
Thomas Ratcliffe.
Here.
George Crawford.
Here.
Mike McGee.
Here.
Marcia Freeman.
Here.
Rick Burton.
Here.
We have a full house. Thank you very much. So we'll try this, and if you don't hear something, please let me know, and I will repeat it. I don't know how many of you have been watching the news, but I thought this was an important thing that I share with you immediately. There was a lawsuit filed today and a temporary restraining order granted against the governor's stay-at-home order. In Clay County Circuit Court this afternoon, Judge Michael McHaney entered an order granting State Representative Darren Bailey's motion for a temporary restraining order, or TRO, in his personal lawsuit as an individual against Governor J.B. Pritzker. The lawsuit seeks to declare that the governor's stay-at-home order and all other orders based on his original disaster declaration exceeds the governor's legal authority. The TRO is in effect until a date to be agreed upon by both parties, not to exceed 30 days, when a preliminary injunction hearing will be held regarding the full lawsuit. We will share more information about this as it becomes available. This is a letter that I received just minutes ago from Brad Cole at the IML. I've had my phone blowing up already saying that the economy is now opened and everybody can do what they want, et cetera, et cetera. That is not true. The TRO enjoins certain actions as they relate solely to Representative Bailey. It is important to note that this order applies only to Representative Bailey as the sole plaintiff in the case. It does not void nor terminate the governor's order otherwise, and does not apply to any other person at this time. The IML recommends that municipal officials and all individuals continue to comply with the executive orders that have been issued. So I imagine all of you are going to start hearing, why are we not opening all the businesses in the city of Belvedere? And that's precisely why, because this is a personal lawsuit. It will be heard at a later date, not to exceed 30 days, and we will comply with the governor's order until we are so otherwise told that that is the case. I thought that was important for all of you to know, because I've already gotten phone calls and texts and emails about when are we opening all the bars and gaming parlors. Not yet. So, under public comment, we have no one here this evening to speak. Under public forum, we have none this evening. Under reports of officers, boards, and special committees, under number 1, we have public safety, unfinished business. There is none. Under public safety, new business, as you can see by your agenda, we have 2 items. The first is police renewal of software license for XRY. Do you have comments you would like to make, Chief, or do you want to just go ahead with?
If you're making comments, just do it next to the mayor so you can put the real back.
Well, I'll entertain a motion to approve the renewal of our software license, which is necessary for operations.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Alderman Stevens. May I have a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Alderman Arevalo. Questions, comments, or further discussion concerning the motion now on the floor? Hearing none, all those in favor of approval will signify by saying aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Passed unanimously. Second, under B, we have from the fire department the rapid response vehicle. I'll entertain a motion to approve the rapid response vehicle.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Alderman Stevens, second by
I'll second that.
Alderman Arevalo. Questions, comments, or further discussion on the rapid response vehicle for the fire department?
I have one.
Okay, Alderman Freeman, please proceed.
Okay, so I'm not sure that this is really an appropriate time for this. I understand that we have the first part of this already, but I think that maybe we can hold off on finishing this project until we do know how badly we're going to be impacted by this. Becky's fiscal year budget highlights every single one of our revenues is pending to be negatively impacted, and we don't know how much. So I would like to make a motion to maybe table this until the 22nd of June and see where we're at, maybe a little better by then.
Is there a
Brereton will
second?
second.
Excuse me?
Brereton will second that.
And Mr. Mayor, motion to table it non-debatable, so we take a vote on that.
So, as the attorney has advised me, this is not a debatable motion and second, so we'll just take a vote. All those in favor of tabling this until June 22nd signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed?
No.
No.
No. Nay. Oh.
Okay, the noes have it, it is not tabled. So we're back to,
I'd like a roll call vote on that, please.
sure.
Let me know if they can hear me. Arivalo,
No.
Brereton,
Aye.
Crawford,
No.
Frank,
Frank?
Aye.
Freeman,
Aye.
McGee,
Aye.
Porter,
Aye.
Ratcliffe,
No.
Do you know what you're voting on? Because the voice vote was almost unanimous in not tabling this. And now we're doing a roll call vote, and obviously, some of you are changing your votes. A no is to not table, an aye is to table. Is that the wishes of all that have voted thus far?
Yes. Yes. We're just tabling this till June, correct?
I believe the date was June something. So I want to...
22nd.
Okay, I want to start over because I'm totally confused by this. Go ahead.
I will start over with Arivalo,
No.
Brereton,
Aye.
Crawford,
No.
Frank,
Aye.
Freeman,
Aye.
McGee,
Aye.
Porter,
Aye.
Ratcliffe,
No.
Snow,
No.
Stevens,
No.
five in favor.
Well, I'll break the tie, and I'll say no, it is not tabled. So we'll go back to the original motion. Motion to approve the rapid response vehicle. I believe we had a motion, didn't we? Do we have a motion and a second? Yes. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed? Okay, it's approved unanimously. Under item C, we have, again, Fire Hendrickson and Scarpetta vacation carryover. May I have a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Alderman Arivalo,
I'll second that.
second by Alderman Stevens. Questions, comments, or further discussion concerning the motion now on the floor? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Those opposed? Motion is carried. Next, under number 3, Finance and Personnel, Unfinished business, we have none this evening. Under Finance and Personnel, New business, we have an update from Budget and Finance Director Becky Tobin. Ms. Tobin, you have the floor.
Gosh, the seats are Okay. So if you have your budget book in front of you, I was basically just going to really quick go through my highlights, which are the first 4 pages of your budget book. This just kind of breaks down my analysis as to the revenues that we need to be watching for the next few months and possibly even longer than that as we go forward.
Becky, can you speak up?
Okay. Let's see. Can you hear me now?
Good.
Maybe it helps if I'm in the microphone. Okay. All right. I'll speak into the microphone. It helps a little bit. So we're basically looking at, this highlights some of the revenues that I'll be watching, that we'll all be watching going forward, not just the next couple months, but even as businesses start to open and we go into our new normal at some point. You know, these are ones of my concern and that we'll have to look at. Our local motor fuel tax, which is the 2-cent tax that was approved in September of 2018. Obviously, gas stations are still open. However, with the stay-at-home order, travel has been affected. Therefore, the gallons of purchase is lower than would normally be. We have received checks from most of the gas stations for March. Nothing alarming right now, but you have to remember everything didn't close until, you know, we were almost 3 weeks into March. So next month is when we'll really, I'll be able to compare our April travel from April of 2019 to see how far off we are with that. The biggest impact there will be obviously the Oasis. That's a huge revenue source for us, and without all the travel, that's basically what I'm going to be looking at. Our home rule sales tax, as well as our municipal sales tax, you know, we're anticipating this to be affected. However, for us, personally, I don't think these revenues are going to hurt us as bad as a lot of other municipalities. We don't have huge mega retail centers. We don't have hotels. So we don't have those types of businesses being closed as much as a lot of other municipalities. Our biggest revenue sources for these taxes, your Walmart, your grocery stores, your Walgreens, those places are busy every single day. So that makes me feel a little bit better about what our sales tax is going to look like. And your automobile places, so far from what I've seen, are doing okay. Do you want to say something about that? There you go. Before.
Also, our revenues from online taxes.
Oh, I haven't gotten there yet.
Okay. All right.
How about
No,
the
no.
restaurant?
Well, some of them where we get a lot of our revenue from, which is your Culver's, your McDonald's, all those are still open. Like I said, some of it will be affected from the Oasis because we do receive sales tax from all those restaurants, and obviously, from what I know, those are open, but obviously not as much traffic because there aren't as many people out. So I am anticipating that to be down. But, you know, a lot of our big revenue sources are doing okay right now. The other thing to consider, which I don't have here because it actually wasn't one of my, something we were going to have a big issue with right now, is our now I just blanked. Well, I call it something else, though. It's our, oh, you got messages coming up. Let me look quick here. I'm sorry, our local use tax, which is all of our online tax. So you can just imagine what that looks like right now since everybody is purchasing online. So I'll be interested in the next couple months to see what our local use tax looks like. The one tax that I am really concerned about is the income tax, because this is one of our local government distribution taxes. So this is divvied up by per capita, so our population here in the city. So that's divvied up by the state. And obviously this one with unemployment, this one could hit us pretty significantly, but we don't know yet to what extent that's going to be. If you flip over to the next page, we have the video gaming tax. So obviously, right now, that's a zero. So we know it's going to be a zero for April, and at this point, it's going to be a zero for May as well. So that's about $30,000 to $32,000 a month. Looking at some other revenues that I just highlighted was obviously the property tax, which is really important. 28% of our general fund revenue, which has not increased for our third year in a row. Two other revenues that we have that are not even in the budget, we receive a cannabis tax, which is a percentage. Of course, the state takes a 7% cultivation tax, and then the local governments receive 8% of that. So ours this past month was about $2,400, so I'm anticipating that to be roughly about $27,000 a year. And then obviously the utility tax that you approved last month for the gas, this is not included in our budget at all. So I was trying to budget conservatively here, that generating about $600,000 for fiscal year '21. Because if you recall, Azavar will take 18% goes to them. So we don't receive that full amount quite yet. So that's kind of where we're at. I mean, we have some good news. I think, obviously the gas tax will help, the cannabis tax will help a little bit. We'll just have to really watch these other ones close the next few months and see what happens. As far as expenditures go, I just noted at the top that even though these items are in the budget, that they will not be purchased unless it's authorized by city council. So basically, if the money's not here, we don't buy it. And I think all the department heads here fully understand that and will not be asking for anything unless they absolutely need to. Same with the any of the road projects as well. I mean, that falls under there as well. Brent, I'm sure, will be coming to you with any of these projects that he still intends to complete this year or in the summer. Moving down towards the bottom of the page, just the salaries and personnel. This just highlights what the union contracts percentage was, and then also what the non-union received, which was the same. None of the new hires will take place at this time, even though they were put in the budget. The department heads will come back to council at a later date if they deem necessary to ask for those. On the next page, we talk about pensions. Police and fire pensions continue to rise, as you know. The amounts that are budgeted, as you'll see, for the city for police is almost $1.4 million. And for fire is over $1.15 million, which is 5% higher than last year. So something to keep in mind. Everybody else is IMRF. Health insurance, we had a really good year for that, which is helpful, with an increase of only 2.1%. Public Works is insured under their union, the Midwest Operating Engineers. So that was just kind of what I wanted to highlight tonight, just that these are numbers that we continue to look at, and I will continue to look at, and I know the department heads will as well, as we go forward.
We will report on this on a monthly basis or more often if need be, so you know exactly where we are every step of the way.
Hey, can I ask a question quickly?
Sure. Go ahead, Alderman Freeman.
Becky, under the income tax, that could potentially go either way, negative or positive, with the census, right?
Correct, yes, at some point, that won't affect us until next year, once the census is complete and those new totals are populated. So that won't affect us right now. The census has been pushed out to, is it August now, Gina? It's been pushed out because of COVID, which is good, because there's a lot of door-to-door that hasn't been able to take place. Here-
Yep. Every 2 weeks, the census keeps pushing it back. Right now, it's pushed back to, I don't think they're even doing the door-to-door census till August, and then it'll be final tallies in October. So it's pushed out quite a lot. As of this morning, Boone County was ranked number 5 in the state of Illinois as far as counties responding. And Belvedere was in the top 22% of all the cities in the state of Illinois for responding. So we are doing pretty good. I am working with multiple agencies trying to get census information out there and help. I had a lot of events planned and organized where I would have been there with laptops, helping people fill it out, answering questions. Obviously can't do that right now. But working with at the different food distribution sites to hand out literature and doing what we can. But so far, Boone County and Belvedere is doing pretty well with their responses.
Thanks, Gina. Anything else, Alderman Freeman? Yes, who's this?
Yes,
Who's
This is Dan Snow.
Alderman Snow, please proceed.
With the video gaming, I don't know if anybody's pursuing this, because when I was like at the Shell station, which is open, and they have the ability to social distance and possibly use 2 out of the 5 machines, and they don't get that much use by the looks of it. I'm kind of surprised that some of the places aren't allowed to go ahead and operate. For instance, like the Shell station or the truck stop. And I would think after, when they lighten up on the regulations, I would think for social distancing, they always seem to cluster these machines next to each other, but I would think most of these places have so much room, because they're renting way more room than they need, that they would social distance and or put plexiglass dividers between them. And just tossing that out, that is the IML pursuing anything like that, or if we should pursue something like that, just throwing it to the administration to help increase the revenue sources over the course of time.
I will share that's a great idea. I'll share your idea with Brad at the IML tomorrow.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Wendy.
Okay, it might have just been out words that she said that I must have, it might have been nothing, but she said, Becky said that she's getting some revenue from the gas stations, but is that all or just some?
Well, all the gas stations are required to pay our local motor fuel tax. It's due by the 20th of every month.
Okay.
So a few of the gas stations, we just have not received their checks yet. Sometimes they come from corporate, so by the time it gets to us, it's just after the fact. But, so yeah, a couple of them don't always get here on the 20th.
Okay, but they're all complying, though?
For the most part, yes.
Okay. Just checking on that, because I was like, if there's some that aren't paying, I'm wondering why they're not paying.
Well, that's what our attorney Drella is for, when we have one or two that don't comply.
Okay.
Attorney Drella, do you have a
Thank you.
comment?
Hey, Mayor,
Yeah, George.
could I ask a quick question? I don't know if I missed it or not, but
Sure.
did we do something for Hendrickson and Scarpetta vacation carryover?
Yeah, we voted it up.
Or was that skip? Huh?
No, we voted it up. It was,
Oh, okay.
it was voted up.
Okay.
Anybody else have a question on anything to this point? Okay, thank you, Becky, that was a good presentation. Under number 5, other, under A, we have a special use extension for 1930 through 1960 Chrysler Drive. May I have a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Alderman Stevens, second
I'll second that.
by Alderman Revalo. Questions, comments, or further discussion concerning the motion now on the floor?
You have to refresh, this is Alderman Snow, refresh my memory. Is this an expansion of the units over by where Chrysler is across the street? Or is this another location?
It's not an expansion, but it's close. There is the storage unit that's right across from Chrysler. This is about a quarter mile south. It actually will butt up against the frontage road for the tollway. Really out of sight, very little vehicle traffic area, which is why it's pretty good for self-storage units. It's definitely not a road you'd want like truck traffic on for your typical industrial development. So yeah, it's about a quarter mile south.
Okay, thank you much.
Additional questions or comments concerning the motion now on the floor? Hearing none, all those in favor of approval signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? Well, I would call that unanimous, and that ends our agenda for this evening's meeting. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
I have a motion by Alderman Stevens. May I have a second, please?
I will second that.
Second by Alderman Revalo. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that's unanimous. We are now adjourned. Thanks, everybody. We had a full house tonight. That's really great. Stay safe. Excuse me. Stay safe, guys.
You too. Thank you. Bye.
Good night.